Welcome to the Final Whistle Podcast. It's Javon, and this is your Chelsea versus Brighton match preview. Let's get into it. Chelsea take on Brighton this Saturday on match day 6. It is our first winnable home game, and Chelsea is looking to pick up their first win home game in this since the start of the season. We've had a defeat at Man City and a draw against Crystal Palace. Arguably, we could have won that game against Crystal Palace if some of the chances were being taken. And City, it's just a game against City. It's the first league game of the season. We're not going to look too much into that. But this game against Brighton is an opportunity to get 4 wins on the bounce and our first home win. And hopefully, our fourth consecutive clean sheet. But before we get into it, let's take a look at some let's discuss some of Enzo Maresca's comments in the match day preview the match day press conference he did. Now, firstly, he confirmed that Reece James is out. Reece James is out, and there's an indefinite timeline on when he could return. Romeo Lavia is fit, so we get to see this baller feature in the matchday squad tomorrow. How much minutes will he play? If he will start, I don't think I'll start, but we'll get into that once I show you my lineup and we get started. Now, some of the other comments from that match from the match day press conference, Enzo Maresca complimented the entire 11 and the subs he made, and the subs that came on that impacted the game against Barrow. It was a very clean and tidy win. He high praises for Benoit Badiashile, Christopher Nkunku, Pedro Neto, and Mikhailo Mudryk. Yes, Mikhailo Mudryk, because he did have a good game. And then we move. Basically, we move. He said high praises for those players because they kept the structure and the system and the style of play how he wanted to play. There was not a level of drop off with the change. Granted, the opposition was just Barrow, but this is what he wanted, and I think this is what the entire fan base wanted. Also, moving on, he was asked a question about Ben Chilwell and if he regretted his decision of saying he wanted to sell Ben Chilwell within the summer transfer window, and he basically doubled down and said, "Hey, I made a decision based on the cards I was dealt, and he is now just focused on winning." So he said he would give Ben Chilwell minutes, and not just minutes in the cup games, but also Premier League minutes. So he could give Ben Chilwell meaningful minutes, and I don't have a problem with that because we have to give him some form of time so he could build up his value and quality, so we could then resell him, whether if it's in the January transfer window and also in the summer transfer window. And the same could be said about Carney Chukwuemeka, because if we can do the same for Carney Chukwuemeka, we can get him sold. I would prefer to keep Carney Chukwuemeka, as he's a kind of a personal favorite of mine, but to each their own. And also, I think he's better than Kieran Dewsbury Hall. But again, it's a new team for Kieran Dewsbury Hall. We'll see how he develops going forward. Now, he was asked a question in the press conference regarding the team's form, and if he wins tomorrow, it will be Chelsea's fourth win, and it's manager of the month candidate. He completely kind of shut that down, and he said he was just focused on the game, taking it one game at a time and just focus on the win and embedding his tactics and structure and all of that into the squad, which is something I love. He's basically saying, "Hey, not worry about any personal awards or any individual awards. We're strictly worried about the team and how the team gets on," which I think is absolutely brilliant. Then he was asked another question, how he is going to manage the happiness of the squad. Again, brilliant answer from Mariska. He said this again. He's handling it by being honest and telling these players that 9 attacking players cannot play because the defensive stability of the squad is going to be off, but they can compete for their place. So if they're playing better than their competition, they will play, but it's still a healthy competition because Christopher Nkunku can come on and score goals. Christopher Nkunku can start, and Jackson can come on and score goals. Pedro Neto can come on and score goals. Midweek can start, come off, Pedro Neto come on, or vice versa. Jadon Sancho, Mikhailo Mudryk, vice versa. I love how he's building a good competitive nature of the squad, and that he's embedding this type of mentality with the young squad we have. He was asked about the defense, and he was complimentary of the defense as well, as he's trying to get a solid back line. He spoke about the clean sheet. He spoke about some of the mistakes being made, but his overall arching message in this press conference is that the entire team can improve, right? And he said the defense starts from the front two, which is Nico and Cole. And I have to agree. Defense always start from the top in terms of pressing. They kick off the pressing, and the rest of the team follows. So it's it was a really good press conference from Mariska, and I applaud how he handled it as well. He was also asked about Moses Caicedo and the price tag. He kind of said, "Hey, shut that down again." He said, "Listen, the players don't dictate their price, and Moses can only play to the best of his ability, and he's a brilliant player." And again, reiterates these he can also improve along with the players. So that was pretty much the basis of his press conference. Players can improve. Praises to this 11 squad. Lavia is fit, and we move. Now, with that being said, here we go into my starting 11. And this is what we have. We have Sanchez in goal. Malo Gusta comes in at right back. Fafana comes in at right centre back. Colville left centre back. Kukurea left back. Enzo Fernandez in the middle, along with Caicedo. Cole Palmer in the number 10 spot. Madueke on the right. Sancho on the left. And Nicholas Jackson up front. Now, the reason why I have this starting 11 is because majority, like all of these were rested all of these players were rested midweek. So good rest. I expect them to start on Saturday. Let's get into it. So Malagusto comes into this squad because he's a natural fullback. He only played 45 minutes on Tuesday. Granted, because he just came from injury, so you had to give him some form of minutes. And it's always better to start a player in a match versus them putting them on to get up to speed in the match, who could then cause another injury. So I expect Malagusto to start. I don't expect him, however, to play the full 90 minutes. Because if he plays the full 90 minutes, it could cause another injury, Plus, we have Tosin on the bench, and Tosin could come in for that right centre back position, and Fofana get pushed out wide to close out the match. Enzo Caicedo played pretty explanatory. One, Romeo Lavia just came back from injury. I do not expect him to come in and start because that would just be nonsensical. I would expect him to come in and play some parts in the game. I know it's contradicting to say, it's better when a player starts, but we have a better option. We have other options in that position, and we could give him some minutes if the game is wrapped up at the end, and just come and slow the pace down. Him and Tosin slow the pace down and just get some minutes in there. Now, on the right hand side, this has been a big debate all week: Noni or Neto. In my opinion, everyone knows me. I'm a huge fan of Noni, but at this point, there's quality that can fill that space. So I wouldn't be adverse or surprised if Pedro Neto starts. Neither here nor there for me. I would love if Madueke could play in this game and show up and show out. And here's why: going up against Brighton, it's going to be. I expect it to be some form of an open game in terms of transition. If we can get Madueke on transition and we can get him linking up with a natural fullback, with Gusto underlapping, Gusto overlapping, Madueke hugging that touchline where he can combine with Cole Palmer and Gusto on that right half space, which how we predominantly build up down that right half space when everything's clicking, would be brilliant. The link up between Kukurea, Enzo, and Sancho is good. Some of what we saw last game, the understanding between Sancho and Kukurea was top tier. Jackson up front. Listen, Nkunku could easily start this game. I don't know how Merska does it because it's a headache. Because after scoring a hat-trick in midweek, guaranteed, I know it's borrowed, but Nkunku, I want to see him start at this one game. So I'm not opposed to seeing Nkunku start. But Jackson, he was rested. And I want to say shout out to Nkunku. Just keeps his head down, keeps working. So I'm expecting Nkunku to get a good amount of minutes. Bring him on at the 70th minute, maybe even the 65th minute if the game is wrapped up. But back to the transitional conversation. I expect us to do well in transition. And if it's a transition game, um, if it's a transition is going to be the main topic of this game, as how I expect it to play out. I'm expecting some of our pacier players like Nico, Madueke, and the passing ability of Enzo Fernandez to come in clutch in this game. I'm expecting Enzo Fernandez to play those line breaking pass, so those balls over the top, giving a quick give and go, playing those ball over the top to Madueke. I'm expecting Jadon Sancho to receive the ball, lay the ball off, link up with Palmer, and give us some really, 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 really good meals on that left hand side and on that right hand side. Now, if that doesn't work, we still got Pedro Neto. If Pedro Neto starts, I expect the same thing. Based on how Maresca plays, I expect the same level of quality from Pedro Neto. So if Pedro Neto starts, I'm not averse to it. I am not averse to it at all. But yeah, that is my starting 11. And I gotta say, it's good. All right, so Brighton, we've beaten Brighton twice, I think, last season, home and away. Um, those two games are very open. With the quality we have, I'm expecting a win. I'm expecting our first home win. And for prediction, I'm either going to go 4-1 or 4-0. I'm going to go 4-0 only because I want a clean sheet. And I expect goals in this one. I'm expecting something special. But yeah, that has been your match preview. I am Javon. Please remember to like, share, subscribe. I have another interview coming up soon. And I think it's one that you guys would like because I enjoyed it. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, comment in the section. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts on the starting 11. And peace. Catch you guys on the flip.